The honor code was really about, or is really about, getting the students engaged intellectually on this issue of ethics and getting the students to own the mission and having them in an affirmative way choose to be ethical themselves and also to hold each other accountable.
You will see the shift from the lecturer being responsible to many of these activities. The students start taking some of the responsibility and saying, okay, I'm responsible to how I conduct myself and also to my classmates.
I expect that there will be, in the first few years, an increased intensity of the conversation on campus about ethics. I think that the students are going to be very challenged to decide what they do when they see, if and when they see a colleague cheating. And I think it's part of the learning process. I think it basically forces the issue and gets them to be intellectually very engaged on this question.
It lets the students think about ethical and honorable actions. And when they are sitting down in the exam room, they are consciously thinking about, am I behaving in a way what is expected from me?
It's been over a year and a half since the honor code was implemented, and I'm really curious as Dean of Students to find out what your perspectives are on the honor code, how it's working, how it isn't, and just for us to really evaluate the honor code.
It's a good thing, but then how to get people to understand it is the problem now.
At first, my perception was that it won't work. I mean, having students sitting in a classroom without a lecturer and expecting them not to do the wrong thing. Initially, I felt it will not work. However, after the first time we sat with Dr. Awuah and voted on it, I realized that after our first exam actually worked, and there was more silence in the lecture hall than I had seen with invigilators around. So I think it's a system that works.
I don't think it is an honor code. My understanding of an honor code is some sort of agreed set of behavior, which if you violate, you don't get punished. The only thing you have to lose is your honor. So I remember Dr. Awuah mentioned it some time ago, and I agreed with him at the time that before the institution of the exam honor code, we already had some sort of honor code among students. And it was that if you saw something wrong, it was not your duty to make a big deal out of it. You just kept quiet and minded your own business. And so anybody who did not follow that honor code was not punished. There are other students who couldn't do anything about it, but you sort of lost some respect in the eyes of your colleagues. And I believe that's how the honor code should work as well. Not that you would get sanctioned or fined or anything. If that's the case, then it's just an extension of the rule book for me, not really an honor code.
Subscribing to the honor code, I think, is a personal decision. It's not just somebody telling you what to do, because before you get into university, I believe we're all mature human beings and we all know the difference between right and wrong, what we're supposed to do and what not to do, generally. But I think there's also a problem of the lifestyle. The educational system in Ghana is such that emphasis is placed on passing. No matter what you do to pass, just do it. As long as you get the good grades, that's it. It's not how much you know or how well you study, or it's just exams. Exams go up to sometimes 100%, 70%. So there's a lot of pressure on these people some people buy exam questions because they need to pass and get to university. So it's a cultivated lifestyle approach towards education. So that's what we've done for the last 10 years. It's extremely difficult to just transition over a day and say, okay, now I'm going to study, do all the work and get the grades.
When you go to school in JSS, people cheat. Secondary school most especially, people cheat. So I'm thinking, these people leave their secondary schools and they come to university, and it's a very normal thing.
Even in school, some teachers used to encourage you to do this. I remember when we were writing our BECE, some lecturers and proctors would actually pass by the lecture hall and give you answers to write down. So how do you expect, like, it's supposed to be, it's natural.
For me, growing up, cheating is not part of the issue. I mean, you don't cheat, and I understand why I shouldn't, and you live by it. But for most of my colleagues, it's not like that. If you cheat in an exam, you're helping somebody. So if you refuse to, you're wicked, you're mean. And that's where they come from.
I think we didn't actually believe and we didn't actually know how it work. But right now we had a problem with people plagiarizing, cheating and everything. As to this insight, you see people actually like respecting the honor code, because now you're sitting down, someone is writing a paper, hey, I don't want to do this, so have you seen what has happened? It's like everyone is cautious. It's like, because it was implemented, I don't know whether first people thought that it's just something that we have that we don't implement. So after facing AJC, seeing it being implemented, people are more scared, like they are more cautious, their behavior has changed, everything, the way they do their work.
Yeah, as when I came to Ashesi, that understood what plagiarism was. And I think over the years, writing papers and honoring that someone has written this paper, you can't just go into the internet and pick up someone's work. You have to honor that person. And people talk about it, but they don't really emphasize that you're taking someone's work. So the honor code has gone the extra mile to make people aware that whatever you're doing in terms of paper writing, not just exams, but your paper writing, your class tests, you're supposed to keep that integrity that you're doing your work. To some ways, there's also make people aware of themselves, that they are much more proud, or they try to go the extra mile to work on their works or their papers. You realize that when you have a test, you don't see students just playing around nowadays because they think that someone can help, but then they actually go the extra mile to go and see teachers for help before the exam, or they see friends, or they go ahead and study on their own. And I think that is an advantage, a great advantage of their own.
I think a lot of work happens when students talk to students. So we have cases like when we decided, when the whole honor code discussion came up, we started talking about it in class, like I said earlier on, and then right then the people actually decided that, okay, I've been doing this for this up to now, I'm going to stop. Like we have different people move from, I'm going to stop cheating, people move from, I already don't cheat, but now if you cheat, I'm going to do something about it, and stuff like that. So it's, I think basically a lot of dialogue, especially among students.
I feel as if it was just put on us. We signed up to it. I did because I believed in it. And maybe somebody didn't believe in it, but they just signed anyway. And so I get scared. I mean, if I leave the school and somebody else comes here and Ashesi subscribes to the honor code, so it's one of the top schools, and people come in here and they know the cliques you can hang with that totally disregard whatever the honor code stands for, then what is being achieved?
If you find yourself in a good system, you're most likely to adapt to it. So you might have been in a bad system and doing so many bad things for so long, but you can still transition quickly. And I think that's where we have the, like you asked earlier, what will happen in 5-10 years time. We have the opportunity to create a system that can survive.
With first years, I see it has actually affected every part of your life. Not only exams, but everyone is careful. It's like you're doing things that you don't want to cheat. You want to do things, everything with integrity. You don't want to have a problem with everything. And that's what I'm seeing with first years right now. Everyone is doing, like, we're doing the right thing.
For me, it's not just an honor code you sign on to and get out of here. It's more than that. The issue is learning to do the right thing and getting out of here to do the right thing.
I hope that we set an example that other institutions will follow in Ghana. And when I say we set an example, I'm including the behavior of our alums. So one of the things that we need to do, it's a question that's on my mind, is trying to figure out whether it's working in the real sense that students graduate from Ashesi and they go out into society and are living the values of Ashesi University. So we need to figure out a way to measure that. How do we measure whether this is working among the alumni community? that's going to be key. And if the alumni are doing the right thing and are successful in their careers by doing the right thing, then I expect that other institutions would take our lead, will follow our lead, and do the same thing.